Our top stories this hour. No passport or ID required. Passengers on domestic flights now need to carry just a smartphone with them. Stay tuned for all the details. The history of Öskemän may go back several millennia. A scientist from Harvard presented his hypothesis about the history of this city. Zero-gravity badminton and various studies, space tourists have returned to Earth. Learn more shortly. Easy way to pay taxes. Now Kazakh residents can pay any fee using the eGov mobile application, said Kazakh Finance Minister Yerulan Jamobayev in the Majlis. The eGov mobile is a real breakthrough in the database integration of state information systems. About 92% of public services were digitized to date, wherein over 97% of accepted applications are processed online. Most of them are related to customs operations and procedures. To improve them, the country began to modernize 10 checkpoints that will be completely automated by 2024. In general, as the minister noted, the digital transformation of the department's services will be classified by 5 key blocks. Each is aimed at creating the most comfortable and favorable climate for citizens. The Ministry of Finance will continue to further improve and digitize tax and customs administration. Firstly, the use of artificial intelligence in the risk management system allows avoiding the human factor and increasing budget revenues. Secondly, it allows expanding the project of horizontal monitoring for large taxpayers as much as possible. The main goal of the project is to timely inform taxpayers about risky transactions and violations of tax legislation. Kazakhstan will start issuing industrial grants. This will become a kind of new instrument for stimulating domestic enterprises. The country's Minister of Industry and Infrastructure Development, Beybut Atamkulov, reported this to the Senate. According to him, the money will be allocated for the technological modernization of production facilities. This means that the costs of upgrading equipment to entrepreneurs can be now paid by the state. This measure will target manufacturers of middle and top-level products, namely those who produce raw materials, high-tech and high-demand goods. The emphasis will be placed on deepening processing, said the head of the relevant department. Atamkulov also added that many factories in the country have not been renovated since the Soviet era, hence the low labor productivity. However, enterprises will have counter obligations too.
Они должны достичь следующих показателей по объему производства продукции.
They must achieve good performance in terms of their declared output volume, product quality, and above all, export orientation. That is, the products that will be produced under our stimulation must meet the highest international standards and be competitive. If producers fail to achieve the objectives of the agreement, then they will have to return to the budget the funds spent by the state.
Бюджет вернуть те средства, которые были государством потрачены.
The first phase of the pilot project to introduce digital tenge has been completed in Kazakhstan. According to the country's national bank, this is the third form of payment that can be used alongside cash and non-cash methods. Experts note that the digital tenge allows to quickly carry out complex transactions without the participation of traditional financial institutions. In addition, it will be possible to make a payment without internet access. This is one of its main features.
Цифровой, тенге, так называемое, это не новшество. То, что Казахстан, сейчас пытается.
The fact that Kazakhstan is now trying to introduce the digital tenge and is looking at options is not a novelty. It is a practice that started a couple of years ago. Many of the world's central banks, including China, are actively working on digital currency. This whole initiative started because the world found out what cryptocurrencies are. In case of our digital tenge, it will be fully supported by the National Bank. That is, the National Bank of Kazakhstan guarantees emission for its operation. In this regard, there will be high reliability as opposed to other private cryptocurrencies in the world.
То есть в этом плане здесь очень высокая будет надежность, в отличие от других же, тех же частных, в мире, которые есть криптовалюты.
According to a study by the country's national bank, digital tenge will be stored as tokens on an electronic wallet in a user's smartphone.
Все цифровые кошельки в конечном итоге хранятся в Центральном банке Казахстана, в
All
национальном.
digital wallets are ultimately stored in the Central Bank of Kazakhstan. All transactions take place in this bank. That is, it is not different banks that pass information among themselves, but everything is happening only within the national bank. That is the basic difference. Theoretically, if there are any fraudulent transactions and so on, it will be easier and faster to investigate them in a centralized system than in different, disparate commercial systems.
Быть расследованы проще и быстрее, чем в разных, в разрозненных коммерческих системах, скажем так.
Experts of the Eurasian Development Bank note the importance of developing digital currencies on the territory of the Eurasian Economic Union. Their introduction will reduce the cost of cross-border payments and stimulate mutual trade in the EAU region.
Мы можем говорить о том, что цифровой тенге получит те преимущества, которые, в принципе, характерны для...
We can say that the digital tenge will receive all those benefits that are common to all digital currencies. Businesses will be able to faster conduct the payment transactions and will also have lower costs as commercial banks will be excluded from the process between the central bank and the client. In addition, the state will be able to control the budget target through small contract technology.
Получит возможность, благодаря технологии смарт-контракта, контролировать целевое направление бюджетных расходов.
Experts note that this payment tool also bears possible risks. The National Bank of Kazakhstan is currently studying how the digital tenge can affect monetary policy. The final decision on its implementation will be made at the end of 2022 after a thorough study. Passengers of domestic flights in Kazakhstan can now provide a digital ID to verify their identity, the Civil Aviation Committee reported. In order to use this convenient service at the airport, you will need to log in to the eGov mobile application, enter the digital documents service, and select an identity card from the list. It is necessary to show the smartphone screen with a QR code generated in the service at the airport check-in counter, as well as during pre-flight security. 379 cases of the coronavirus infection were registered in Kazakhstan in the past 24 hours. Karaganda region recorded the highest daily number of the infected. 80 residents tested positive there, 66 in the capital of the country. North Kazakhstan region came third with 64 COVID-19 cases. Overall, since the beginning of the pandemic, the number of people infected with coronavirus has already exceeded 983,000. Meanwhile, according to Kazakh Health Ministry, more than 19,000 patients continue to receive treatment for COVID-19 to date. 3,000 out of them are in hospitals. The coronavirus vaccination campaign is well underway in the country. 8,363,114 people have been immunized with 2 components of COVID-19 vaccine in Kazakhstan. The validity period of the PCR test results was reduced in Moscow from 3 to 2 days, the city's mayor Sergei Sobyanin announced. The main reason is the expected spread of the Omicron variant. The validity period of QR codes of those who have had coronavirus was extended up to 1 year. They were valid for only 6 months before. Now QR codes are necessary to attend theaters, museums, and shopping malls. Meanwhile, classes in schools of South Korea were moved to online today. Strict restrictions on visiting entertainment and sport facilities have been in effect since last weekend. Only fully vaccinated people will be able to attend them. It will be necessary to obtain the authorities' permission to take part in outdoor events. These rules will be valid until January 2nd. Now the country's authorities are urging the population to get a booster jab. According to the latest data, more than 80% of the residents are fully vaccinated. About 22% of them got a booster jab. Death toll from Super Typhoon Rai in the Philippines climbed to 208. At least 50 others went missing. The areas of Central Visayas registered the highest number of dead people. According to the latest data, about 500,000 residents had to leave their homes because of the storm. The authorities opened nearly 3,000 evacuation centers. Rescuers and firefighters have been mobilized. Forecasters predicted that the wind will keep raging in the next day. More than 20,000 people were evacuated due to the fears over the floodwaters in the state of Selangor. Malaysia. According to the residents, there was no such powerful flooding in the region before. There is a buzz in camping supply stores. People are buying up rubber canoes, kayaks, and life jackets.
But I was
Actually, I am disappointed with the speed of the government's response. It is so slow. I know that many people are doing their job. The fire, the rescue service has come and everything, but it is too slow.
because of the politics stuff and everything.
Kazakh scientists have developed an innovative method for the disposal of medical waste. The unique installation allows for thermal disinfection of biomaterial, so now it is no longer necessary to sort medical waste. Any substance that gets into a plasma chemical reactor heated to 2000 degrees dissolves in the blink of an eye and prevents toxic components from decomposing. It's worth noting there are no similar installations in the world yet.
Наша технология отличается тем, что у нас повышенные температуры. Мы не сжигаем.
Our technology is different because we have high temperatures. We do not burn waste in the reactor, we gasify it. As a result, we get environmentally friendly gas, synthesis gas, and environmentally neutral slag. These are the main differences from traditional technologies.
Вот это вот основные отличия от традиционной технологии.
At present, medical waste in the country is incinerated at a temperature that is 2 times lower. The scientist believes that it is not allowed to completely destroy the harmful components. Highly toxic contaminated medical waste is known to be hazardous to both human health and the environment. Therefore, there is a growing preference for more efficient clearance techniques.
Баламалы әдістері ол автоклавтау, яғни
Autoclaving is an alternative method. This is water vapor pressurized waste treatment, which medical organizations mostly do themselves. As a result, harmful microorganisms contained in medical waste are destroyed through atmospheric pressure.
жаңағы медициналық қалдықтардың құрамындағы зиянды микроорганизмдер жойылады.
Medical waste can also be disposed of by loading it into chemical solutions or by shortwave. Experts do not exclude that the new plasma treatment method, which was developed by domestic scientists, will soon be included in this list. The history of Öskimen city may go back more than 1 millennium. This is evidenced by the data discovered by Harvard researcher, a Kazakh scientist, Nurlan Kınjahmet. According to information from ancient Sino-Manchu sources, on the site of the modern city there was an ancient settlement of Kingitur. It existed until 1757.
Harvard кітапханасынан оның электронды нұсқасын түсіріп,
Harvard graduate Benjamin Levy studied the data on China and the Manchu Empire very closely and ended up in a closed archive with very valuable information. His work can be trusted. It contains various historical facts, a lot of information about the Kazakh steppe of that time, and there is information about the former name of the territory of Öskimen.
терең, одан кейін өте сирек кездесетін материал арқылы жазған.
Kazakh historians confirm that Kınjahmet's theory can be proved, since scientists often discover interesting finds from the past in the region. For example, the latest excavations in the area of Akbaur Museum Reserve, which is considered an ancient observatory, have shown that people lived there for thousands of years. Tribes and eras changed. Akbaur is located in close proximity to Öskimen and is part of the Yurtis region, because it is only 40 kilometers from the city of Öskimen. Since ancient times, this area has been very densely populated. Of course, in the vicinity of Öskimen, and the city itself probably also stands on some archaeological sites. And there is a large burial ground in the vicinity of Akhmirova Minevnoye. This is the era of the Middle Ages. Soyuz MS-20 spacecraft landed in the steppe of Kazakhstan. The spacecraft, carrying space tourists Yasaku Mezawa and Yozo Hirano, along with cosmonaut Alexander Misurkin, returned to Earth from the International Space Station. It landed 148 kilometers southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan. Space tourists participated in the research on the blood flow through the body. In addition, almost the entire ISS crew took part in the zero-gravity badminton tournament.